Okay, so the last video, I went over subtraction and addition with cancellation method. Now, I'm going to do the cancellation method with multiplication and division. So if we have a coefficient, and we call these coefficients the number in front of a variable, that is what a coefficient is. So, let's get started, right? Remember, we're only going to use the cancellation method to answer these questions. We're not going to use the, oh my goodness, we have to take it over. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to cancel out everything, one by one. So, first thing, remember, if you've seen the other videos where we take this stuff over, we would normally work with the constants first. Constants being just the numbers without the variables. It's just the numeric values. Now, if we want to get rid of the 4, in order to do that, let's just say we have 2x plus 4, and we have 20 on this side. If we want to get rid of the 4, we have to minus 4 on both sides. Why? Because if we put minus 4 over here, we will just cancel this out. Because plus 4 minus 4 is equal to 0. And remember what we do on the one side, we do it on the other side. I'm going to stop saying that okay, I'm actually going to keep saying it just in case you come across another video without knowing this one. Just to make sure that you fully understand. So now we have 2x on its own, and we have 20 minus 4, which is equal to 16. Now, how on earth do we do this? How do we cancel out these? How do we use cancellation method on this 2x is equal to 16? Now, I'll show you this, right? If we want to cancel out this 2 over here, we need to divide both sides by 2. Now listen here, this is why we're doing this. Sorry about that, I just need to do something. So why are we doing this? Because the reason why I'm actually cancelling out like this is because if we were to look at, I'm going to write it here. Sure, right, I'll write it here, right? If we were to look at 2 over 2, 2x over 2, and if we were to separate it, right, we know that 2x over 2 is actually just equal to 2. It could also be written as 2 over 2 times x over 1. Why am I saying this? It's because when you multiply these two together, right, if you multiply with fractions, you would basically multiply the numerator with the numerator and the denominator with the denominator. You'll get 2 times 1, which is 2, and 2 times x, which is 2x. And that is what I'm trying to show you over here. Now, let's look at this. What is 2 over 2? 2 over 2 is just the same as saying 1. And we know that x over 1 can also just be written as x, because anything divided by 1 stays the same. So let's do that. Now, what is 1 times x? It is just equal to 1x. But remember, whenever we are doing algebra, we don't usually say 1x, because obviously 1 multiplied by anything, it stays the same. So we just write x. Therefore, do you see what I did? This cancellation method, if I divide it by 2 to cancel them out, I just get x as an answer. And you can see x is on its own. Let's do that over here. How do we do this now? We are sure whenever we have a coefficient like this 2 over here, we need to divide both sides by whatever number is the coefficient of x, basically. So how do we show this working now? We just cancel it out. I recommend using a pencil to cancel out. But anyway, we cancel these out, and then we get x alone over here. And we obviously have 16 over 2 on this side, which is the fraction, and 16 divided by 2 is just equal to 8. Now, let's do the next one. If you're still a little unsure, then we can basically just see what's happening. 5x minus 5 is equal to 10. Now, how do we do this? Remember what I said? Get the constants away from the x side, with the side where x is. So what do? We have to say 5x minus 5 is equal to 10. I always leave a space open to show that, okay, I'm going to cancel out. Now, what do we do with this negative 5 so that we can make it equal, so we can make it 0 on this side? We just need to, if you said add 5 on both sides, you are correct, so that we can basically cancel them out. Minus 5 plus 5, and remember I said plus 5 on both sides now. And obviously this will cancel out, and you'll be left with 5x is equal to 10 plus 5, I know it doesn't look like the neatest plus sign, but it's fine. 10 plus 5, which is equal to 15. Now, remember what I said over here. When you are trying to cancel out a coefficient of x, which is the 2 in this case over here, you must divide both sides by whatever number is affecting x. In this case, the number that's the coefficient of x is 5, so we have to divide both sides by 5. That is just a method that we use. So divide this by 5 and divide this by 5, so that we can cancel these 5s out, and we have x on this side. I hope that's more clear to you. And remember, this is also a fraction now. 15 over 5 is equal to 3. And that's how we do cancellation with multiplication. Now let's quickly do with division. I know this is a longer video, but I'm trying to fit two of them at once so that you can understand both of them in one sitting. It's so cool, eh? Easy. So we have x over 3 is minus 2 is equal to 4. Now what do we do? Remember what I said? Always deal with the constants first. So let's do this. X over 3 minus 2, leave a space, 4 is equal to 4. What do we do with this negative 2 to get rid of it? We have to now add by 2 to make sure that it's equal to 0. And obviously what you do on the one side, you do on the other side. We can cancel these out now, and we are left with x over 3 is equal to 4 plus 2, which is equal to 6. Now, what do we do here? So, pay attention to this, right? If I want to get rid of this 3 as a denominator, I'm going to show you on one side of this page as well. Let's say, for example, we have, I'm going to write it here, just let this thing focus. So, let's say that we have, actually I'm going to get another page for this. We have x over 3, right? I want to make sure that x over 3 is just equal to x. Now, what do I do in order to get rid of this 3? So, I'm going to show you this, right? If I multiply this by whatever number is in the denominator, you will always guarantee it to cancel out. Now, let me show you why. If I multiply this by 3, right, by the denominator, this can also be written as, sorry, let me keep this still, x over 3 multiplied by 3 over 1, right? Because I'm turning 3 into a fraction, which is 3 over 1. And if I were to multiply them together, x times 3, remember numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. X times 3 is just equal to 3x all over 3 times 1, which is equal to 3. And as you can see, we have the same situation, 3x over 3. Remember what we said about these? We can cancel them out. And that is why I say multiply the fraction where you have x over whatever with whatever number is in the denominator, and only works for the denominator, by the way. If you try and do it, if x is in the denominator, then yeah, I'll try and make a video on that at some time, but it will happen. But what you need to know from this is you have to multiply the fraction of whatever number is in the denominator. So let's go back. That is not math. Here we go. So we have x over 3 is equal to 6. Let's do that. We want to multiply this by 3. Remember what I said? I can just write it like this, because remember, this is just 3 times this fraction. And now, watch this. What we did over here, we did 2x over 2, and then we canceled them out, right? Because obviously 2 over 2 is just equal to 1 in this case, and 1x, we can just write as x. In this case, I say, if you multiply, remember also you need to multiply both sides by 3. Because whatever you do on the one side, you have to do on the other side. Let's cancel these out now, because I already showed you why they can cancel out. If you do this, then you can just instantly go to the cancel out step. Or you can write it as a fraction 3 over 1, then you can cancel the 3's out, but that's an extra step that you don't need to take. Because you did this, now you are left with x on its own, because I did show you exactly why. And then 6 times 3 is just equal to, also you could write this out like this, because 6 and then brackets and then 3 will just be equal to 6 times 3. And then 6 times 3 is going to be equal to 18. There we go. That's how you do the fractions, the division cancellation method. Now let's do another example, one more example, and then you can try other questions on your own. Try and make up your own math questions and then see if you can do it. I do recommend doing practice. Anyway, so we have 4x over 3 plus 6 is equal to 10. Now, what do I say? First thing you need to do, get rid of the constant. What do? We say 4x over 3 plus 6, leave a space, 10 is equal to 10. In order to get rid of the 6, we just have to, now, where it was plus 6 over here, now we have to minus both sides by 6 so that we can cancel out the 6 on this side. So we minus 6 on this side, and we minus 6 on this side, so that we can cancel it out. Plus 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. 4x over 3, that's what we are left with, is equal to 10 minus 6, which is equal to 4. Now, what are we going to do here? Remember what I said? We are all, okay, so look here, I know we have a coefficient of x here, which is 4. We have 4 times x is all over 3. Now remember, this is the order that you would always do it in, and I wanted to include this. Whenever you're solving for x, always deal with the constant first, then deal with the denominator, and then deal with the thing that's multiplying by x, the coefficient. So let's get rid of this fraction, this denominator. Remember what I said? In order to get rid of that, we need to multiply both sides by whatever the denominator is. And in this case, the denominator is 3. And obviously, we're going to multiply this by 3. Now, remember what I said, once you make this multiply by whatever this fraction is with this denominator of the same number, you would just cancel out. It's the easy as that. And then this is just 4x is equal to, because now the 4x over, it's going to be 4x over 1, which is just 4x. So 4x is equal to 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is equal to 12. Now, remember what now we're back here. We're back to the multiplication part. Remember when we had 2x is equal to 16 or 5x is equal to 15? Let's do the same thing over here. We have 4x is equal to 12. Remember what I said? You have to divide both sides by whatever number is the coefficient of x. In this case, we need to divide both sides by 4. So that these can cancel, and then we are left with x on its own. Let me just get rid of that. Is equal to 12 over 4, which is equal to 3. There we go. So it's actually really, really easy. You just need to practice these questions. You'll get used to it, and you'll be acing all of these types of questions. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you do well in your tests.